Hello everyone. I hope all is well with you. And greetings to all, and thank you for attending today. And let's kickstart our session with a great quotation. Always perform your duty efficiently and without attachment to the result. Because by doing work without attachment, one attains the supreme. Good morning to all our guests and dignitaries. My name is Devadashi Malik, your host for the webinar on benefits of reading Bhagavad Gita. I extend a heartily greeting to each and every one of you. It is a huge honor for us to have someone of a high caliber whose involvement adds significant value to the topic. In today's fast-paced world, the Bhagavad Gita guides us to manage stress and by focusing on our duties without attachment to the outcome. Its teaching on selfless actions and mindfulness helps in building inner peace and resilience, leading to a more fulfilling and balanced life in the modern challenges. And before we proceed further, let me briefly introduce about our organization. SEMS Welfare Foundation, a registered non-profit organization dedicated to social impact across various sectors. We focus on education, particularly skill development and entrepreneurship. Through our initiative, Digi Saksham, we have created training programs in IT, finance, retail, entrepreneurship, impacting over 6,000 individuals. We are currently upskilling inmates in Haryana jails and collaborating with university and colleges. We have also partnered with bank to over 1,500 candidates in jobs. Family, which is another SEMS initiative, empowers women through workshops and stories of successful female entrepreneurs. We conduct programs on digital literacy, marketing, and career development, reaching over 1,000 women across multiple states. This initiative recently reached a milestone of 100 women actively involved. In just a short time, SEMS have established itself as a force of positive change, equipping individuals with skills for employment and promoting women leadership in various industries. Now, I am highly delighted to introduce and welcome Ms. Shweta Khandelwal, our keynote speaker for today's international panel. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Thank you very much. That was such a warm introduction of mine. It's truly an honor to be here today. I appreciate the opportunity to connect with all of you and share insights from Bhagavad Gita. My journey in spirituality has been deeply fulfilling, and I'm excited to share that passion with you. I believe that the teachings of Bhagavad Gita can transform lives, and I'm here to help guide you on that path. Let's make this session interactive. So feel free to ask any question and share your thoughts. Thank you for being here, and let's embark on this spiritual journey together. So now I will start my session and I will share the PPT with you.
So before starting, I would like to give an introduction about our speaker. So Ms. Sweta Khandelwal is a certified trainer with 4 years of experience in teaching the Bhagavad Gita. She passionately creates spiritual and remedial content for YouTube as well as Instagram, guiding individuals to lead a blissful and purposeful life through the teachings of this profound life. With this, I, Devadashi Malik, on behalf of SEMS Welfare Foundation, extend a warm welcome to Ms. Shweta Khandelwal, ma'am. Your presence have added a significance to this event, and we are genuinely honored to have you here, ma'am. And before we commence today's event, there are few ground rules that all the participants must abide. You are welcome to ask questions in the chat window. We'll respond to all the queries at the end. Please keep your microphone muted. The most engaging participant during the session will receive a letter of appreciation from us, and the winner's identity will be revealed at the conclusion of the meeting. And a feedback form will be provided in the chat window. Once again, a warm welcome to all the participants and our distinguished guest of honor, Ms. Shweta Khandelwal. We look forward to our informative and enjoyable event ahead. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much for such a warm introduction. And let's start the session today. So, here we will be learning today the benefits of reading the Bhagavad Gita, right? So, can anybody tell me what are the benefits you are thinking? What you want to achieve from Bhagavad Gita? Why you are here today? I want answers from everybody. If you can post in the chat box, please do that.
Ma'am, can I say something?
Sure. Go ahead.
Ma'am, the Bhagavad Gita is very much related to our life. So
Okay.
we can achieve our life lessons through reading, and I
Yes.
guess it is.
Yes, that's correct. Wonderful, Rimpa. Yeah, I can see the comments also. Mental clarity to know the objective of our life. Wonderful. So we will see what are other things today. Now I will introduce the Bhagavad Gita. You all know about Bhagavad Gita, right? So what is Bhagavad Gita according to you? Like there are multiple Puranas, 18 Puranas, 4 Vedas, and Upanishads. So what do you think what Bhagavad Gita is?
Ma'am,
Do comment on the chat box. What
I
Bhagavad
think
Gita is?
Bhagavad Gita helps us to understand the truth of life,
Okay.
and
Yes.
it helps us to clear the mental condition and other.
Yes. Wonderful. Wonderful, Ben. So, Bhagavad Gita is it's true. It is helping a lot, and Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata actually, right? And it is known as Gitopanishad. It is a song sung by Krishna to instruct Arjun, right? Arjun was confused in the battlefield, and he was disappointed. So, in the first chapter, Arjuna told that I'm not able to fight Krishna. But at the last, Arjuna is telling that Krishna, I am fully firmed and fixed and convinced. Now I am ready to fight. So what happened in between? That is actually mystery. So Bhagavad Gita is basically Gitopanishad, and it is a manual of our life, right? Like with every electronic machine, you're having one manual how to use that electronic machine. So in the same way, this human body is given by the Lord. So how to use this human body, that is given in Bhagavad Gita. So if you want to use your human life properly, you must read Bhagavad Gita, right? So this is about Bhagavad Gita, and about its significance we will know in further slides. Okay, now Bhagavad Gita, we are taking benefits today, right? The glories of Bhagavad Gita. So from which scriptures it is taken? So this is taken from Gita Mahatmya. Okay, Gita Mahatmya is written by Adi Shankaracharya, which glorifies Bhagavad Gita and tell us the benefits of Bhagavad Gita. And also, so it is a text praising Gita, basically Gita Mahatmya. So we are taking two references here. First is Gita Mahatmya, and second is recent scientific research on its benefits. So we are taking two references for its benefits, Gita Mahatmya and scientific research. Okay, now whom you can read Bhagavad Gita and how? So it's not like that you can read Bhagavad Gita or you can learn Bhagavad Gita from anybody, right? Like when we are choosing our school, colleges, we are seeing that it is bona fide or not, it is authentic or not, genuine or not. We are not just getting somewhere and applying for the education. We are seeing that it is bona fide or not. In the same way, we have to check that the person who is giving this book of Bhagavad Gita, the author of the Bhagavad Gita, and the person who is teaching you Bhagavad Gita is authorized or not, right? You have to check that. So how you will check that? Whom can you read the Bhagavad Gita? So there are three things. You can note it down. So there are three things. First, the person should be the devotee of the. Why he should be the devotee of the Krishna? Because if you will ask about me from anybody, you will not get the exact information. But if you will ask about me from my father, mother, or my husband or children, you will get the exact information because I am in relationship with them. I am living with them. So you will get the exact information. In the same way, if you want to learn Bhagavad Gita, if you want to learn about Lord, you have to go to the devotee of Lord Shri Krishna. Then you will get the exact information about Lord Shri Krishna and about this material world, about you, about your material body, soul, everything. Because the devotee of the Lord is in relationship with the Lord Krishna. So that's why you will get the exact information about Lord Krishna from the devotee. So first thing is you should learn Bhagavad Gita from the devotee of Lord Shri Krishna. Second thing is that person should not give you his or her mental speculation, right? He should be giving you the exact Bhagavad Gita as it is, as the Bhagavad Gita was told in the field of Kurukshetra by Krishna to Arjuna. In the same way, you will get the exact information if you are learning from devotee and if you are learning from the person who is presenting you Bhagavad Gita as it. And the third quality would be that person should come in disciplic succession. What is disciplic succession? So this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, knowledge of all Vedas, Upanishad, everything, this material world, matter, spirit, everything was given first by Lord Shri Krishna to Lord Brahmaji. Then Brahmaji told Narad Muni. Narad Muni told Vyasadev, and Vyasadev told to Madhvacharya. In this way, 32nd number of Acharya is A.C. Bhakti Vedant Swami Srila Prabhupada. So what Bhagavad Gita I am referring to, that is from Bhakti Vedant Swami Srila Prabhupada. So that comes under disciplic succession. So whatever Bhagavad Gita you are reading, that should come under the disciplic succession. Why disciplic succession is important? Because as you will get a fruit from a tree. If you will get a fruit from a tree just by like it fall down and you picked up. So if it fall down, you will get distorted fruit. But if you will get it by hand to hand, you will get the exact. That's why if we want exact fruit, exact information, pure information, then we should hear from the devotee who is in disciplic succession and who is not putting who is not putting his mental speculation and giving you Bhagavad Gita as it is. So that is the importance of Bhagavad Gita reading and to whom you can learn Bhagavad Gita. Also how? So there should be a proper mood of learning Bhagavad Gita. What is the mood of learning Bhagavad Gita? It is like Arjun. Arjun is in submissive way. He is hearing in a submissive way, surrendering way. He is accepting Krishna as Guru. And then Krishna is imparting all the knowledge to Arjuna. In the same way, you should be surrendered and submissive while reading Bhagavad Gita. Then you can understand the Bhagavad Gita as it is. You can imbibe all the knowledge practically in your life if you are hearing in that mood, in the mood of Arjun. So this was about the introduction part, and now we will be learning what is the benefit of Bhagavad Gita, the significance of Bhagavad Gita. Just wait a minute. So first benefit is perfect solution to all your material problems. So can you just give me some problems in the chat box? What are the problems you are facing in your life? Just little one sentence or one word you can give. Give it quickly. Yes. Time management issue. Can't be consistent. Balance between material ambitions with spiritual growth. Very nice. Okay. So we are getting some problems here right now. The problem is related to discipline. Okay. Okay. So there are various problems, right? We are facing, but the solution is Bhagavad Gita. Just a sec. Yes. So the solution is Bhagavad Gita. So Gita Mahatmya told us that Bhagavad Gita is the perfect solution to all your material problems. Just see, there is one solution. If you are just learning Bhagavad Gita, you will get resolved by all material problems, right? So that's why Bhagavad Gita is very, very important. So how practically it is giving us solutions. The teachings of the Bhagavad Gita provide practical solutions to material challenges such as stress, decision making, and interpersonal conflict. So whatever we are facing, time management issue and discipline, everything can be solved by Bhagavad Gita learn, right? So if we talk about the scientific research, so there was scientific research on stress reduction techniques. So Bhagavad Gita is helpful in cognitive behavioral therapy. What is this? Cognitive. This is about mind pattern, right? Sometimes we are getting stuck in a vicious cycle. We are having the same pattern. We want to get out of that habit, but we are not able to do that, right? That is a type of pattern which our mind is putting to us because it is programmed like that. Okay. So that's why Bhagavad Gita is very helpful in cognitive behavioral therapy. That means it can change your thought process, right? That align with the Gita principles. So whatever cognitive behavioral therapy is given, that aligns directly with the Bhagavad Gita principles. So that means if you are learning Bhagavad Gita, you can change your old pattern. You can start getting wonderful thoughts and managed, organized thought. Now fearlessness through careful reading. If you are reading very carefully Bhagavad Gita, scrutinizingly, that means you are not just reading, you are learning, you are studying, you are properly making the notes, you are giving the test, you are like imbibing all the knowledge, very scrutinizingly you are studying, then you can get fearlessness. You can get out of all your fears, right? Discussion on how understanding one's dharma. You can understand your duty, and you can be detached from the outcome. You can focus on your duty. That is taught in Bhagavad Gita, right? So when you are detached from the outcome, your mind is not disturbed. Your mind is very calm and relaxed and focused because you are focusing only on your duty. So that fosters fearlessness and resilience. Then, if we talk about the scientific research, so many leaders are applying these principles in challenging situations to deal with the challenging situations and to study leadership, right? And psychological resilience research. So what is resilience? Resilience is basically that you are getting that power that you are able to manage everything. You are able to organize everything. Well, if situation is coming in front of you, you are not getting disturbed. You are able to focus what you want to do. So this kind of change you can adapt from reading Bhagavad. Now, nullification of past reactions with sincere reading, right? If you're sincerely reading Bhagavad Gita, your all past reactions will be nullified, right? So what is past reaction? Karmic reaction. Have you heard about karmic reaction? Anybody? Have you heard about karmic reaction? You can post in the chat box. What is karmic reaction? No? Fruits of karma, right? Okay. So basically, what is karmic reaction? We are thinking that we are doing something and we are not getting anything, right? We are thinking like that. Whatever my life, my wish, we are thinking like that. It will not get any reaction, but it is not happening. Whatever happiness and distress we are getting in this life, that is due to our past karma which we did, right? So that is the reaction of past karma. You have heard about, you have learned about the Newton's third rule, right? Every action has equal but opposite reaction. In the same way, in your life, whatever you are doing, you will get the reactions but opposite react, right? So that's why it is very important to be mindful and that you can be sincere reading of Bhagavad Gita. When you are sincerely reading Bhagavad Gita, it is magical book, it is a spiritual book, it is not religious book, it is not for Hindu, Muslim or Christians or like that. It is for everybody because it talks about the matter and spirit. In your science, in your colleges, schools, you have learned about the matter only. You have not learned about the spirit soul. But in Bhagavad Gita, you are learning about the spirit soul, right? So you are learning about the spirit soul. That's why it is a spiritual book and it can give you the power to nullify all your past reactions if you are sincerely reading the book. So when past reactions will be nullified, you will be out of the karma and you will be more focused about your purpose in your life, whether it would be your material purpose, your office or your school, your college, anything, or whether it would be the purpose of life. So you would be getting the clarity while reading Bhagavad. Now, exploration of how sincere reflection on Bhagavad Gita teachings helps individuals move beyond past mistakes and regrets. Okay, so you can get over your past mistakes and regrets also. Sometimes we are unable to get over our regrets, mistakes which we have done, right? But by sincere reading of Bhagavad Gita, you will be able to forget whatever you have done, your regrets, and you will be able to move forward sincerely. Okay. Psychological studies on the benefits of mindfulness and self-forgiveness correlating with Gita's emphasis on self-awareness and spiritual growth. So, whatever principle is given in Gita about self-awareness and spiritual growth, that is aligned with psychological studies, right? You can get mindfulness and self-forgiveness through reading of Bhagavad. Now, the next is you will be cleansed of all material dust. What are material dust? Anybody knows material dust? Which material dust I am referring to?
Ma'am, being materialistic.
Okay.
Like money and other thing, ma'am. I think materialistic money and luxury house and car, this type of thing.
Okay. Unnecessary desire, Anjali told. Correct. So, unnecessary desire, right. So, these material dust are like lust, anger, greed, anxiety, depression. All these things are material dust, right? Which we don't want, but we are accumulating that, right? Because we are living in this material world, it is natural to have such material dust tendencies. So, from many lives, we are getting these material dust. And due to that, we are not recognizing ourselves that we are soul. We are thinking that we are this body. Why? Because we are having so much material dust, Kam, Krodh, Mad, Lobh, Matsar, right? So that's why we are not recognizing ourselves. So when you are reading Bhagavad Gita, you will be cleansed of all this material dust and you will be able to recognize yourself that you are soul, not this body. So first realization is, first principle of spiritual life is to realize that you are soul, not this body, right? So by reading Bhagavad Gita, you will get purified, your mind will get purified. Your mind is having so many thoughts, right? Disturbed and so many thoughts. But when you are reading Bhagavad Gita sincerely, your mind would be cleansed and you will be focused. You will be able to feel the purity in yourself and transparency in your mind, right? So Bhagavad Gita imparts you the spiritual wisdom and clarity. By that, you can get purified of all material dust, right? If we talk about the research, then insights from positive psychology and well-being research showing how spiritual practices contribute to mental and emotional health. So it would be helpful in your mental and emotional health also. So sometimes we are like focusing on, if we are, I'm giving you an example. If a husband will sit with his wife and enjoying the moment, right? And if he will get a call from office, he will get disturbed. He will think that, oh, I'm enjoying this emotional moment, very good moment, and now this person is calling me. He'll get disturbed because he is involved emotionally at that time. But that same man, if he is involved in doing some office work, his same wife will come, but he will get disturbed and he'll say that, please don't disturb, right? So sometimes we are so emotional, sometimes we are so intellectual. So to balance these two things is very important for peace in our life, right? So that is actually intelligence, to balance emotions as well as intelligence. So Bhagavad Gita helps you in that also. You will get good mental and emotional health. Now the next is essence of all Vedic literatures. So initially I have told you that there are 4 Vedas, right? 18 Puranas, Upanishads, and many Vedic literatures. It is not possible for you to learn all the Vedic literatures in this age where you are living just for 100 years, 60 years. It is not possible, right? So that's why Bhagavad Gita is essence of all Vedic literatures. So if you are learning Bhagavad Gita, you are learning all the Vedic literatures. Why I am telling this? Because in Bhagavad Gita, everything is written. Whatever is written in other Vedic literatures, and whatever not written in Vedic literatures, that is also written in Bhagavad. So Bhagavad Gita is that powerful because it is directly told by Krishna, directly told by the creator of this universe. So you can understand the power of this book, right? So that's why Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedic literature. Bhagavad Gita encapsulates the core teachings of the Vedas. So whatever written in the Vedas, you will get the core teachings of the Vedas in Bhagavad Gita, presenting universal principle of truth, duty, and spiritual realization. Everything is given there in Bhagavad Gita. Truth, duty, spiritual realization, everything. So it is for everybody. It is for kid also. It is for young also, young person also. It is for old person also. It is for dying person also. It is for businessmen also. It is for homemakers also. It is for everybody. So Bhagavad Gita principles will never change. Bhagavad Gita is told by Krishna 5,000 years ago to Arjuna, right? But today also the knowledge is same. You don't need any changes in Bhagavad Gita. The principles of Bhagavad Gita will apply in your life today also and in future also. Doesn't matter what age is, what time is, but Bhagavad Gita principles will remain same and it would be helpful for everybody. So that's why it is manual of our life, and it is very important to learn this manual for everybody. So it is not luxury, it is necessity. Spiritual realization is not luxury, it is necessary, right? Necessity. Okay, Rimpa is telling something. The Vedas provide profound insights into the profound insights into the nature, reality, the self, and the divine. Yes, correct. Vedas have everything, all the knowledge Vedas contain, right? So, essence, nectar of Vedas is Bhagavad. Then comparative religious studies highlighting the Gita's philosophical depth and relevance across cultures and traditions. So whatever religion you will go, you will find the Gita principle there, right? So it is like universal. We know that in foreign like US and other countries, people are learning Bhagavad Gita in the universities, colleges, right? because they understand the importance of Bhagavad Gita. So that's why we should also understand the importance of Bhagavad Gita and we should start learning Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Binay, you are exactly right that Bhagavad Gita is a summary from all Vedas in a simple way. Yes. So it is basically formulas given, right? Formulas are very much required, how to live life, what to do, in what situation, if we are stuck in any situation, what to do. Everything is written in Bhagavad. Okay. Now, Bhagavad Gita is nectar emanating from Lord Krishna's mouth, right? So Bhagavad Gita is not a like simple song or geet. It is nectar. It is Amrit for from Lord Krishna's mouth. So basically, there is no difference between Bhagavad Gita and Gangaji. Why people are going to take bath in Gangaji to purify themselves, right? But Bhagavad Gita is equally purifying the person. Why? Because Bhagavad Gita, Gangaji comes from the feet of Lord Krishna and Bhagavad Gita comes from the mouth of Lord Krishna. That's why both are same. If you are regularly reading Bhagavad Gita, that means you are taking Ganga Snan daily. So that's why in all circumstances, from all perspective, reading Bhagavad Gita is very, very important and beneficial for us. Metaphorical interpretation of the Gita's teachings as divine wisdom and guidance akin to nectar flowing from Lord Krishna's, right? It is divine wisdom. So it is, Bhagavad Gita is very poetic also. Okay, and profound nature of Bhagavad Gita's verses, inspiring spiritual seekers and scholars, right? Who are seeking a spiritual growth, Bhagavad Gita will inspire them, right? Because its nature is very profound and poetic. Now, the conclusion is the Bhagavad Gita is the summum bonum of your life. If you are reading Bhagavad Gita, that means you are reading everything. You are getting all the solutions from Bhagavad Gita. So that's why reading Bhagavad Gita is very, 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 very important. And it should be learned from a proper authority, as we have discussed in the first slide, that Bhagavad Gita should be learned from proper authority, right? The devotee of the Lord, the person should be in disciplic succession and he should not be giving you their mental speculation. He should be giving you the Bhagavad Gita as it is. One example I want to give you that milk is very pure, right? But if a snake will taste it, that would be poison for you, right? That's why Bhagavad Gita is very good. It is nectar from Krishna's mouth. But if you are learning Bhagavad Gita from non-authorized person who are giving you their mental speculation to you, you are not getting nectar. You are getting poison. That's why to learn Bhagavad Gita from authority is very important, right? So Bhagavad Gita is summum bonum of your life. Now I want to understand who will start learning Bhagavad Gita. Anjali is saying something. In today's world, people are misled by anybody. Yes, correct. Sometimes people start raising question on the person who is reading Bhagavad Gita. Yes. So we
So,
should
ma'am,
not be misled by anybody. Yes, Bena, you are saying something?
yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, if I want to learn Bhagavad Gita from starting, so how to start? Like, as you told that from a good teacher, not by anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I want to start in a
Okay.
simple form and in a daily life routine, how can I start learning every day?
Okay. So first, if you are able to understand it by yourself, I will refer you one Bhagavad Gita that is by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Okay, the name is Bhagavad Gita as it is. So whatever quality I have told you, the disciplic succession and everything that matches with the person, Swami Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the author of that Bhagavad Gita is. So you can
Okay.
learn by him. You can purchase that Bhagavad Gita and you can start reading that Bhagavad Gita by yourself or under the guidance of someone who is authorized, right? So here I also organize some courses. I have new batches. I will let you know about that, right? So first
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to know that who will start Bhagavad Gita from today, from tomorrow, or who is planning to start Bhagavad Gita. I read Srimad Bhagavatam, so can I continue with that also? Sure. That is very nice. So Bhagavad Gita is, it is like basic. And Srimad Bhagavatam is, if you are in college, you can understand by this example. Bhagavad Gita is school knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam is college graduation, and then Chaitanya Charitamrita is book that is PhD on, right? So first you should learn Bhagavad Gita. Whatever principles are written in Bhagavad Gita, that is shown by Bhagavatam, by examples of devotees, right? So you can get elaborated a study of Bhagavad Gita in Srimad Bhagavatam. But first you should understand the Bhagavad Gita. Then you should go for Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Yes. So Binay will start learning Bhagavad Gita, Khushi will start, Pragati will start, Harshit will start, Rimpa will start, and Sushmita will start. Very nice, very nice. Wonderful to see. Okay, ma'am, I'll start learning. Jatin will also start learning with Anjali will also on the way to finish it soon. Okay, you are already studying Bhagavad Gita, Anjali.
Yes, ma'am.
Very nice, wonderful. So, like you're like now you are about to finish that, right? You told.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm totally changed. The way I was and the way I am today is, ma'am, totally different.
Wonderful, wonderful. So there we are having one real example here, Anjali, who is reading Bhagavad Gita and like experienced transformation in her life. So in the same way, everybody should start Bhagavad Gita so they can experience changes in their life, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, the thought process I had, like, ma'am, it was totally different. People are raising question on caste and everything, like what is caste, what is religion and everything. And I
Yes.
told them that not caste, religion, it is made by us, not by the
Yes.
God. God just
Yes.
made us a part, like we are soul.
Yes.
So if we see us as a soul, then we will find like essence of life very easily. And if we
Yes.
see us as a caste religion, then we will not find anything. The essence of life we will miss throughout the life until the death.
Yes, correct, correct. So what you are referring to is spoken by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Varnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasa. So Krishna told that I have made this division, but it is not by caste. It is by guna and karma. It is by qualities, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What the qualities you are possessing? Like you are having satoguna or rajoguna or tamoguna, right? You are
Yes,
having
ma'am.
Brahminical quality, or you are working like you can work like soldier, or you can work like a businessman, or you can work like a you can assist all of them. So in this way Krishna has divided. It's not caste system, it's by your guna. And Krishna in his life worked in every way, right? When he's telling Bhagavad Gita, he's working like Brahmana, right? When he's fighting with the demons, he's working like soldier. When he's doing Gopalan, cow protection, he is working like Vaishya. And when he is becoming Sarthi of Arjun, right, charioteer of Arjun, he is working like Shudra. So that means Krishna is showing you that caste, there is not any higher or lower thing according to caste. All are equal. Or all are equal, but whatever quality you are having, you can use in the service of Krishna. Then you will be satisfied.
Mr. Kishore, kindly mute yourself.
So now I will tell you about the courses. I also have some courses in Bhagavad Gita, which is going on. New batch I'm about to start very soon. So if anybody of you is interested in this, you can contact me. You can take screenshot of this slide. My information is given here, and we can discuss it further wherever you will message me, by, whether it would be email or my contact number, right? You can discuss with me about my courses. I will tell you whatever problem you are facing in your life, you can mention that problem also. So based on that, I would suggest, right? So here I am done. Now it is over to SEMS to take it forward. Thank you very much, all of you. You were very interactive throughout the session. You have replied everywhere, wherever I asked something. Thank you very much.
Ma'am,
Thank you,
for
ma'am.
participation. Thank you so much. Ma'am,
Thank you.
I want to ask you something that, like, when I read or listen about Bhagavad Gita, that time I am motivated to work things according to that. But when any, especially during challenges challenging time,
Mhm.
how can I consistently applying the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita?
Okay, so if you are regularly reading Bhagavad Gita, no, you are studying the Bhagavad Gita actually. You are making notes and you are memorizing those points. You will be able to use that if you are regularly reading the Bhagavad Gita. And learning from someone is very important, because if you are reading Bhagavad Gita, you are just reading and you will forget. But if you are learning from someone, you will hear first, then whatever you will hear, you will give test, you will write something, and you will share your knowledge to someone, right? In this way, you will be able to memorize the principle of Bhagavad. So then you will be able to use it wisely wherever it is needed. And along with Bhagavad Gita, you should do mantra meditation also. That is chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So mantra meditation also make you focused, and whatever you are reading in Bhagavad Gita, you will be able to understand it completely and imbibe it in your. So the courses I am giving or the classes I am providing, in which in those classes I am telling them about mantra chanting also, benefits of that, and how to do start.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Yes,
you, ma'am, for
anybody else?
your insight. And on behalf of the organization committee, I express my hearty thanks to our outstanding speaker, Ms. Shweta Khandelwal. Today, we had the opportunity to listen to an interesting, thorough-provoking discussion on the benefits of the reading of Bhagavad Gita, and we genuinely thank you for the session. And now the Q&A round. Ma'am, though some of the question you have already answered, I would also ask our participant to, if they have any queries or answer, they can pin it on the chat box.
Okay. I have got one query. What practical advice does the Bhagavad Gita offer for managing attachments in personal relationship? So, Bhagavad Gita is telling about the duty without attachment act, right? Whatever we are doing, we should do as a matter of duty. But because if we are getting attached to someone, no, we will not serve. We will expect, and once we will start expecting from someone, we will be getting entangled and we will be having miseries. Like if we are attached to someone, right? Like you want something today. I am hankering for eating pizza, right? I'm very much attached to pizza. If I'm getting the pizza, I will be having greed to eat more pizza, right? And if I'm not getting pizza, then I'll be having anger. So this is attachment. If you are getting attached too much, excessive attached to someone, if your expectations would be fulfilled, you will feel that I should have more and more and more. Some samne wala person should serve me, right? You would not be having attitude to serve that person. But if you are acting as a matter of duty, okay, I am husband and I have to provide this to my wife, to my children. So if you're doing that as a matter of duty, you will not be attached and you will be fulfilled in yourself. You will be happy in yourself. And everything, what Bhagavad Gita shows us, that everything should be done as offering to Lord Krishna, right? If you are satisfying Lord Krishna, everybody, including you, would be satisfied. There is one example. Like if we are putting water to the root of a tree, root of a plant, this plant would be nourished overall. Okay. All the leaves, all the branches, twigs would be nourished. But if you are watering each and every leaf will not be satisfied. In the same way, if you are trying to satisfy each and every person, right? Or satisfy yourself, you will never feel satisfied. But if you will be satisfying Lord Shri Krishna as offering all the work and results, everything, if you are offering to Lord Shri Krishna, you will be satisfied and your whole family, including your ancestors, would be satisfied, right? So this is the practical advice Bhagavad Gita gives, how to manage personal. Now the second question is there any restriction or guideline in Hindu scriptures or traditions regarding reading the Bhagavad Gita during menstruation? No, it's not like that. In menstruation also you can read. In fact, you should read. You should chant the holy name of Lord Shri Krishna. You should read Bhagavad Gita. It is there that you should not go to the temple hall because your energy is low that time, and because due to higher energy in the temple, it will not be working. That's why people are telling that you should not go to the temple. But during menstruation, you are having relaxed time, and at that time you should do something for yourself. So you should read Bhagavad Gita that time also, and you should chant also.
Ma'am,
Yes.
like we know that the key to happiness is the reduction of desire, but how to reduce that? Like in today world, everyone wants something other thing, and also that without that many people can't live also. So how to reduce the desire in today lifestyle and today world?
First of all, reducing desire is not possible, right? You should convert it, right? You should
Yes,
have spiritual desires. You should not curb the desires that I will not have any desire. You are soul, soul is having some desires, right? It should be pure desires to serve, not to expect, right? Whatever you are, if you are doing business, if you are earning money, that is all fine. Without that, you will not be able to take forward your livelihood, right? So that is important. But what should be done? The result and the karmas, whatever you are doing, it should be given to Lord Krishna. You should not be attached to the result of the duty, right?
yes, ma'am.
You are doing your duty perfectly, but you are not attached to the result that I will get this result only. So that's
फल
why,
की चिंता मत करो. Yeah.
yes. So that's why, like small children in schools, when they are not getting good marks, expected marks, they are committing suicides, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that's why too much expectation to the result, too much expectation to someone is not good. This kind of desire is not good. You should have desire that I am in this material world. I'm in this material body. There is birth, death, old age, and disease. I will have to overcome these things. These are the real problems: birth, death, old age, and disease. One day you will die. We plan for everything, right? We are planning for which school I should get, which college, what I will be doing, what I'll be becoming, engineer, doctor, or whatever, right? And then whom should I marry? And about the children, we are planning everything, we are planning, but we are not planning the death. And because we are not remembering the death, that's why we are not thinking about the spiritual progress. Because we are soul, it is our prime duty to think about the purpose of this soul, purpose of this material body. You should also plan what would be my next life. That is important. So when we will think in perspective of soul, then we will be able to have right kind of desires.
Okay, ma'am.
I hope it is like you are clear about my answer.
Yes, ma'am. I have to convert
Okay.
the desire.
Thank you so much. Wonderful questions you are asking. You all are.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Any more question?
Ma'am, one question, like, ma'am, if we want to learn Bhagavad Gita and know the principles of life, then it is necessary to join ISKCON.
See, it is not necessary, but ISKCON is a bona fide system. You will get a system. You will get association. You will get people there, like-minded people. That's why it is important. If you are having like-minded people, it is not necessary to join ISKCON. You just need to apply the principles in your life, that you just need to chant the required number of rounds, whatever Guru told you, right? And you need to do you need to have 4 regulative principles in your, that's
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
And you need to read scriptures. So there is ABCD in a spiritual life that you have to continue if you want to progress rapidly in your spiritual. A means association of devotees. B
Yes,
means
ma'am.
book reading. You will have to read books from authorized source, right? Like I have told you from Bhagavad Gita, as it is from A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Similarly, you will have to read it from authorized source. Okay, book read. And C for chanting, you will have to chant the holy name of Lord Shri Krishna. That will clean you from your material desire and everything. That is very, very helpful. Actually, one study has happened in that also. That research was done with the IITians from Indore. So first they have checked the brain patterns of those students that was very distorted and disturbed. But after chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, when they checked the brain pattern, it was very focused, calm, So it was like that. So that's why chanting is also important. In this Kali Yuga, chanting is the Yuga Dharma. It is the only option to get over this material misery and material life, material conception of life. We will have spiritual conception of life, spiritual desire. We will be realizing that we are soul. So that is possible through chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and reading. These two things would. So first association, A for association, B for book reading, C for chanting, and D for diet. Diet means whatever you are eating, it should be offered to Lord Shri Krishna. The
Yes, ma'am.
sattvic food, if you are eating, then you will be rapidly progressing in your spirit. So if you are following this ABCD of a spiritual life, you will be rapidly progressing in that. It is not necessary to join anything, but you need to keep this thing in your mind, that how I will get these necessities, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. I got it.
Oh, thank you so.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
It was such a wonderful session.
Thank you
But
very much, Anshika.
but I have a question that
Yes.
how not to expect, because at the end we all are human being and expectations are a natural part of being human. Like
Mhm.
if I'm going to marry someone, I will definitely have some expectations from him. Or if I'm doing a degree, I know there will be some outcome of that degree, and that's why I'm doing it. Even
Mm.
though if I'm attending this session, at the end of the session, I know I'm going to learn something. So I'm
Mm.
also expecting this thing from like little things. So how it is possible that not to expect from the thing?
Okay, if you are following the spiritual life, no, if you are chanting properly, if you are having good association, if you are progressing towards your spiritual life, naturally it will happen, right? It you told that I will naturally expect from someone. So yeah, it's natural. But if we will have to, the mind is like that. The way you are training the mind, it will get programmed and trained. So we will have to give substitution. It should not be like that. Okay, I'm not expecting and I'm sitting silent. It is not possible. You will have to fill your mind with the duties. You will have to give substitute, that instead of expecting too much, I should be focused on my duties. I should serve. What can I give you? This
Absolutely.
attitude we should develop, right? And it will come gradually. It will not come in one day that you will stop expecting everything and you will be like serving everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
So you will have to program your mind. So that is possible through a spiritual journey. That's why you need a guide, right? A spiritual guide, a spiritual association, like-minded people, so that you can go with them in flow, right? Because see, if you are practicing for any competitive exam, you seek for like-minded people, no? You seek for good association, you seek guidance. If you are learning any material thing and any like science, if you are learning, if you are learning engineering, doctorate, or anything, you need a teacher, you need a guide. So spiritual life is not possible without guidance. It is not possible by yourself only you will be able to. It is not possible. You need like-minded people, students, you need a guide, you need books. So like I told, ABCD of a spiritual life, that is important. Association, book reading, chanting, and diet. If you are doing these things, no, it will automatically happen that your thoughts will be changed, you will be transformed, you will experience the transformation in yourself.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, clear?
Okay.
Any other question?
I got my answer, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Once again, I express my gratitude and thanks to Ms. Shweta Khandwal for sparing time from their hectic schedule for the empowering such informative webinar to us. We are really speechful to your invaluable presence at this session. You have given a in-depth to how to get knowledge from Bhagavad Gita and use it in our modern life. We look forward to further webinars and even for to advance for both of our personal and collective knowledge. Additionally, I want to thank to all the attentive audience for their questions and active involvement. Your participation have made this event more meaningful.